Mario Baxter has a great question. On average, how long does it take you to finish an asset from start to finish, and how long does a studio give you to finish on an average? That's a great question. That's a great question. So it depends a lot, right? Like, it's not the same thing. Let's take a look at some examples. And I'm gonna throw some numbers here, but again, these numbers vary a lot depending on the studio, the region, and things like that. So, game, assets, concept art. So let's say a studio comes to me and they're like, "Hey, Ave, we saw your stuff. We want you to help us out with something. We're doing a tractor game." And I know this is AI. I'm sorry. It's just the first thing that looks complex enough that I can give you an estimate on. And they're like, "We need you to do this tractor for us." Okay, cool. I always like to ask the question first, what's your budget? Right? Because if they are honest enough, they're gonna give you a budget. They're gonna be like, "Oh, we're thinking," just to give a general example, $200 for this asset, which is low, by the way. It's like, "Hey, you know what? That's a little bit low. I think this tractor is gonna take me at least probably like 80 hours to do, so that's 2 weeks of work. And my time at this point is not worth $200 for 80 hours of work." And at that point, you can start the negotiation. You can be like, "Hey, maybe I can help you out with the initial block-in. I'll try to like find a way to match you, or I'm gonna give you my number." And it depends a lot on the kinds of softwares that I'm gonna use, the complexity, the size of the studio that you're working on. You're not gonna quote the same thing for a big studio that you're gonna do for a small studio. So there's a lot of variables. Again, I don't want to throw numbers because then someone's gonna come back later. It's like, "Oh, I made a horrible deal because of your numbers." So, so that's not what I wanna. I don't want to be quoted for this, but you should always find a like the number that you should be looking for. Here's the sort of like the math equation, and it's not a math equation. Oh no, Photoshop, don't die again. Freaking Photoshop, man. First your terms of services and now this. There we go. Okay, so how much should you charge? It's a little bit of again, it's a funny question, but here's what I would do. Is you're gonna add how much you pay for utilities, right? So electricity, like water, drop of water right there, food, like a, I don't know, a hot dog. Oh, that looks horrible. Just gonna do like a can of food. So how much you pay for utilities? Okay, that's an X number per month. And then how much are your skills worth? Okay, so I'm gonna use the Maya logo. So knowing Maya, right, or knowing even Blender, ZBrush, whatever, has a Y amount of value, then I like to add a savings. It's gonna be like a little piggy bank. So that's gonna be W plus your profit. Okay, so if you, for instance, need, again, I'm just using random numbers here. If you need, let's say, $2,000 for your living expenses per month, and your skills are worth however much you spend on your softwares and tuitions and stuff like that. Again, this is, I'm gonna do it like a per month basis. I'm gonna say, again, another $2,000. And you want to save, I usually recommend saving about, if you can, about 20% of your income. So be like $500. And I want to have, at the end of the whole business deal, another $1,000 of profit. This right here would be, in this case, that's 500 per month. Right? So this is the amount of dollars that I would spend or would like to have per month as my income. And if you check that in the US average monthly income, this is after taxes, by the way, after taxes, you're gonna see that we're a little bit above average, right? In average, it's $5,000 per month, so we're a little bit above average. Again, just a random number, because I know that if you don't live in the US, then the number is not gonna be the same. So if this is your number right here, and they ask you to do this tractor, oh, I lost it. But if he asks you to do the tractor, and you're gonna take 2 weeks to do the tractor, then in average you should be asking half that. So 225, right? Again, this is just a rough estimate because this is not exactly how it works. If it's a big studio and they're going to make a big profit out of that specific work of yours, then it's a different sort of like a formula or mathematics. You can ask for other types of compensations and things like that. But in average, if you take how much you need to live, how much you are worth in skills, how much you want to save, and how much you want to profit, you should get a roughly like good number on how much you should charge for something. Your living expenses will change depending on where you live and things like that. But hopefully that gives you guys a sort of like a little bit of an overview of do that. Wolbinator says, I was told to also add in the cost of the hardware because yeah, that will be on the, like, I would normally include that inside the like expenses. So my computer, lights, microphone, everything, that's part of the expenses of the project.